Good morning, everybody. Welcome to day 5 of week 1. We're wrapping up the Shema Yisrael this week. And as we prepare to begin davening, we first will set an intention as we've done every day this week. We're taught by the mystics that the intention to enter the space of davening with is one of love, one of committing ourselves to loving our fellows. We do this in our thoughts, in our speech, and in our action. And as we center our thoughts, realizing that davening exists not just for our own benefit, but in fact that it should infuse our interpersonal relationships, we continue on to creating this reality via speech, verbally accepting upon ourselves and committing to the precepts of Ahavas Yisrael, of loving our fellow. So we'll say together in the Hebrew, Hareini, Makabel, Alai, Mitzvahs, Aseh, Shel, Vahafta, L'Reacha, Kamecha. And now in English, I hereby accept upon myself the positive commandment of you shall love your fellow as yourself. And we know that we as humans exist. We manifest on 3 planes. We manifest through our thoughts, through our speech, and through our action. And so as much as we create this reality for ourselves in our thoughts and our speech, we have to express it also in action, and we do that by giving tzedakah. So we take our coin and we put it in the pushka. We have in mind that this is not merely a symbolic gesture, but is in fact a true action of giving of ourselves to another. That it's not just a box that it's not a piggy bank, but it is a box that is connected to another person. And that when we give this coin, when we give from our own money, which represents our own vitality, we do so in a way that is that gives from our essence to somebody else's essence. So today, being that we have now, so to speak, finished the Shema, so what we're going to do today is to try to take it from a different vantage point. Today it's also worth mentioning on the Hebrew calendar, today is the 7th Zayin Adar, which our tradition tells us is both the birthday and the yahrzeit of Moses, of Moshe Rabbeinu. And the mystical teachings tell us that each one of us contains inside of us a spark of Moses. And that spark of Moses is what directs us, is what centers us in finding our mission and our purpose. Moses was a person who was entirely given over into his mission. He was, as we know, the Torah tells us, the paragon of humility. And we know that when we talk about humility, Moses's deal was not one of, I'm nothing and what am I already? But it was an idea of, I realize that I have tremendous capacities and tremendous abilities that are God-given, and therefore I have to use them for my mission of facilitating the exodus of Egypt, facilitating a transcendence of limitations. And Moses would say that if somebody else had my abilities, they would do a much better job. But I was given these abilities, so I have to step up to the plate, and I have to take care of what I need to do. And so in that same vein, when we talk about our own personal Moses, our spark of Moses inside of us, we have to constantly bear in mind that we have a mission, and that our mission is to imbue our surroundings with goodness and with lightness and with kindness, and that we have to spread that luminance to each other. Like we said yesterday, that the insights that we generate and the experiences that we have during prayer are not just for us, And while we spend our day trying to transform them from abstract to concrete, when we do so, we have to use them not only to inspire us, but to inspire our fellows. Because we're here as Jews, Kol Yisrael Daven Zelazeh, that we're here responsible and standing in for one another. So today, I thought we would take it from a little different vantage point. We have discussed over the course of the week 6 different words, 5 different words, 6 different words of Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. And we've given an explanation for each one of those words. And each day we've compounded upon the previous day and the previous days that the Shema should be a unified message for us and a unified experience. And within each of that, we gave a little meditation and something to think about. And we have quite a bit to think about and quite a bit to explore with our minds every time we say the Shema. And as such, some of us will connect to some ideas and some of us will connect to other ideas. We discussed in brief that Shema has 3 meanings: to hear, to understand, more than 3, to hear, to understand, to gather, and to elevate. Yisrael connotes wrestling with God and going straight with God, transcending and overcoming those struggles. And Li Rosh being our essence, being connected to the ultimate purpose of existence. We talked about Hashem as being that which is transcendent, and Elokeinu as being, transcendent and revelatory, and Elokeinu as being that which conceals. And we spoke about how that the sophisticated, elevated understanding of that is seeing how revelation and concealment both work in tandem. And then we spoke about Hashem Echad, about all of that being aligned and facets and manifestations of one true essence, like the sunlight with the sun. And we spoke about the ideas of the in concealment and revealment of the teacher and the student, how the teacher conceals and constricts his intellect in order to share it with the student in a way that he can accept it, and how that concealment is a revelation. And we came up with a lot of things to think about, and so we're going to think about them in a different way now. To elevate, Shema is 3 letters that correspond to the verse in Isaiah, which says "Sa'u mara manechem," which means lift your eyes upward. So today we are going to learn a nigun. A nigun is a wordless Hasidic melody, and these were tools that Hasidim would use in prayer. The idea being that there is a teaching that words are the quill of the heart, and song or melody is the quill of the soul. And then in the process of singing, we express and we touch something more essential to ourselves. And it's a time to create an atmosphere for ourselves in which we can ponder and in which we can prepare ourselves for the Shema in a way that is different than how we've done till now in a purely intellectual, cerebral way. So you have to forgive me in advance because I'm not a very good singer. But this nigun is called Hillel's or Hilke's Tnua. And Hilke was the guy's name. And he was a unique individual. He lived about maybe 150 years ago. And a tnua is really like it's like a line or like a stanza, and it's not a very long one. It's quite short actually, which fits with our time constraints. And nigunim niggins are sung in the universal language of ay ay ay. And it's specifically a wordless tune because it can't capture, words can't capture because of their limitations and their definitions, they can't capture the true essence of what our feelings are. So I'm gonna sing it and you guys jump in, and I'll try to go slow so you guys can learn it. And we'll close our eyes and we'll get comfortable. And we'll sing it, and everybody has, oh wow, your father's neshama should have an aliyah. We should talk about this. We should talk about this after we finish davening. Everybody get comfortable, and everybody try to connect to one idea that we've spoken about, and try to examine it as we sing this, and just focus on how we have examined it in the past, and how through singing it is examined in a different way. So there's two parts to this niggin, and each one is sung twice. So I'll sing it really slow, and we'll see how this goes. Oh yina ya ya today ya 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 yo yinam. Oh yina ya ya today ya 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 yo yinam. Today ya ya hey ay dadam. Ay dada ya hey. Today ya ya hey ay dada. Ay dada ya hey, from the top. Today do yina ya ya. Today ya 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 yo yinam. Oh yina ya ya. Ay 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 yo yinam. Ay ay hey ay adam. Ayina ay ay hey ay ay hey ay ladam. Oh yina ay ay hey. Today oh yina ay ay hey. Today ay 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 oh yinam. Oh yina ay ay hey. Ay 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 oh yinam. Ay ay hey ay dadam. Ay dada ay ay hey. Today ay ay hey ay dadam. Ay dada ay ay hey. Today do yina ya yam. Today yamama yo yinam. Oh yina ya hey. Today ya yo yinam. Today ya hey ya dadam. Oh yina ya hey. Today ya my hey ya mamam. Oh yina ya hey. And we'll transition as we've pondered these ideas through singing the niggin. We'll transition straight into the Shema Yisrael. And we'll take this energy that we've created for ourselves and we'll cover our eyes. And as we use this niggin to prepare ourselves, we'll go through once again, very quickly, the ideas. That we cover our eyes, saying that the fragmentation of the world that we woke up into today, we know does not express the truth of existence, and that we instead desire to connect our essence to the ultimate essence of our Creator. And we do that by Shema, by gathering our disparate self, our intellect, our emotions, our thought, our speech, and our actions. And we elevate it with our struggles of Yisrael to become in tune with our essence of Li Rosh, our essence of Yisrael, of our divine soul that is here for a purpose, that is imbued and entrusted with a mission as being a spark of Moses. And that essence that we are aligning our essence with is the essence of Adonai Eloheinu, of godliness that transcends contradicting paradoxes such as concealment and revelation, to a place of Adonai Echad, to a place of ultimate unity and singularity. So, as we sit with our eyes covered, we'll take a deep breath. And we'll go word by word, calling in these ideas to mind, feeling our desire to connect our essence to the ultimate essence. And we'll say it together in the Hebrew. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. And as we stay for another moment with our eyes covered, reflecting on the word Echad, which we said yesterday is about unifying all of existence in its source and realizing that all of existence and all of creation are like sunlight, are the rays of the sunlight in relation to the body of the sun itself. And we'll focus on the sun and its brilliance and its warmth, reminding ourselves that while in our day-to-day experience, the rays of sunlight exist as an entity unto themselves, distinct from the sun, like we feel our own existence as entities distinct from our source, we are in fact bound up and unified with our source and with our essence. And we'll uncover our eyes and we'll re-embrace this new reality that we've born for ourselves with the insight that we've generated. And we'll look at the world around us not as fragmented, but as harmonious. And we'll try to accept and to embrace in some capacity that within this multiplicity exists an underlying unity. And we do that by saying the next line, which begins with the word Baruch. Baruch means to extend and to draw down and to activate. And we should activate for ourselves this reality, not only in the times where we close ourselves off from the world and turn inwards, but also when we're turned outwards as well. And we'll say the next line together. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuso Le'olam Va'ed. And to finish off, we're sitting today on Friday, and Friday is a time where we start to think about what Shabbos is going to look like. And Shabbos, we know, is a time where the mystics tell us that the entire world and our miniature world of our own life, everything is elevated, and everybody's Shabbos looks different, but the common denominator of everybody's Shabbos is that it's a time for introspecting, and a time for elevation, a time where we feel more essentially ourselves. We're told that all the prayers that we pray throughout the week are elevated by the prayers on Shabbos. So when we think about what tonight and what tomorrow is going to look like, we think about everything that we've learned this week and how we're going to instill it into our Shabbos. So the homework for today is to find some time tonight or tomorrow to meditate on everything that we've spoken about this week, and to find a way to make it even more real for you. We spent each day of this week sort of growing, compounding on meanings and ideas that we've developed. And the idea is because each idea doesn't stand alone. Judaism is one singular corpus, and everything is unified and aligned, and everything expresses a similar unity. And no matter what we learn, we can plug it back into something else we've learned, and we can plug it back into a different part of Judaism. And so as we've discussed all these ideas, we should carry them through, and we should continue to chew them over, because the idea is to make them even more real for us. That when we say the word Shema, we immediately know that we've discussed three meanings already. And we can and the more we think about it, we can create more meanings for ourselves. And especially a more abstract idea like concealment and revelation, to go back and forth through that in our mind is endless. And we can always find more insight and more clarity in an idea like that. Similarly, when we talk about meditating on the sun and its relationship with the sunlight. So everybody should find a moment during Shabbos. We say in general that prayers during the week are a mini Shabbos, an island in the busy day where we disconnect and we find ourselves and we find our essence again. And God gives us a whole day at the end of the week to do that again. And everybody should find their way and have their way how they connect on Shabbos. And finally, it's worth mentioning also that this week, this Shabbos is called Shabbos Zachar, and there is a special mandate that we read a specific parsha from the Torah, which is it's a paragraph discussing the story of Amalek. Amalek was a nation who lived in what at the time was Eretz Canaan, what we know today as the land of Israel. And they were especially committed to the destruction of the Jewish people. And we have a everlasting commandment to remember them and to retell the story of how they tried to exterminate us, similar to the story of Passover and the story of Purim. We like to discuss people who tried to exterminate us. But what is unique about Amalek in particular is that just like everything else in Judaism, we know that everything exists on a material, physical plane and on a spiritual plane. And the spiritual plane of Amalek, one of the ideas that's brought is that Amalek, the letters, the gematria, which is each Hebrew letter has a numerical value. So if you add up the numerical value of Amalek, it equals the same as Safek, which means doubt. And it says about Amalek, the language the Torah uses is Asher Karcha Badarech, which means they were the ones who happened upon you when you were on your way, when they were on the way of leaving Egypt. But the deeper explanation is Asher Karcha Badarech means kar also means cold. And it means, as we would say in Yiddish, the kaltkeit. the coldness that we can experience sometimes, that coldness, living without enthusiasm and without vitality, brings coldness, which can bring doubts, that we second guess ourselves and we second guess what we're doing, and we second guess our connection and our purpose and our mission in this world. And we're required every year to remind ourselves that there is such a thing as an Amalek that exists inside of us or around us, and that we have to protect ourselves, and we protect ourselves via remembering. And especially this Shabbos, we should remember everything that we discussed this week, and we should find ways that not only do we recite it in an intellectual, cerebral way, which might be cold, but we should do everything we can to make it real for ourselves. And in such, when we make it real for ourselves, it means that our heart feels something for it, and we're moved to emotions. And with emotions comes enthusiasm and vitality. And when we create that vitality for ourselves and that enthusiasm for ourselves, we will surely not be affected by the coldness, and we will surely not be affected by doubts, because we will be aligned in the spirit of today. We'll be aligned with our personal mission as an expression of the spark of Moses that we all have inside of us. So good Shabbos, everybody. Shabbat Shalom. May this week have been I hope this week was a uplifting week. Next week, we're going to do a similar deep dive in the second line of the Shema, which is Baruch Shem, which we've been saying every week. So we're going to do a similar type of deep dive, and it's going to be very exciting. I'm very excited, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all there.